Thank you for joining us on The Backlog is Real. I'm Terrence, and today we're going to discuss House on Haunted Hill, the 1999 remake of the 1954 film of the same name starring Vincent Price. This movie, I gotta say, it caught me by surprise, and if you're looking for something good to watch on Halloween, I think this movie's actually like pretty perfect. It's typical B horror movie, and it, like I said, it caught me by surprise. I remember that years ago when this movie came out on DVD, I hadn't seen it in the theater yet, and my friend Edwin called me and he's like, "Hey, why don't you come over? We'll smoke and watch the movie. I got this movie that I think you might like." And I was like, "Sure, whatever, bro. I'm down. Saturday we got nothing to do." So I go over, we smoke, we see the movie, and I was pretty high, and I remember watching it and then just being like, man, this movie's actually like kind of fucking disturbing. The whole beginning of the movie starts in the house of the title, and it's an asylum at the time, and this is like back in the day, and it's like it's just crazy. Like the mental patients start attacking the staff, and they start slaughtering everybody, and even the screenwriter has a cameo in that scene. He gets some pencils jammed through his throat. It's a pretty gnarly kill, and this movie does have that. It has a lot of gnarly like violence in it, and some good gore, and yeah, from that point on, I felt like, man, there's some stuff in this movie that makes it good and like disturbing, actually, and that stuff I'm gonna talk about also. But like I said, this is a good Halloween movie, and it's got some good jump scares, and it has like all the hallmarks of a pretty decent horror movie. And one of the things I want to talk about it is the cast is pretty good. You have Jeffrey Rush playing this Vincent Price analog. That's like he hams it up to the point that it's like he's not chewing the scenery. He's like making a chopped cheese out of that shit and just tearing it up to just eating it like right in your face. But he's great in it, and he's one of the things that actually makes it like watchable. Like he's actually like good, like enjoyable to watch in it. And it's interesting because he had just come off of winning an Oscar for Shine. I think he won like Best Actor or something. So you have this prestigious actor in this movie, like just kind of like he's not slumming it. He's actually like you could tell he's enjoying himself. And you have Famke Johnson playing his wife, who's also really good in it, and she's all over the place, but her character kind of calls for that. So it's she's pretty good in it. And then you have Tate Diggs, you have Ali Larder, who's actually really good in it, Bridget Wilson, Peter Gallagher, who seems a little bit out of place. Like I'm more used to him like in movies like Sex Lies and Videotape and more like straight drama, but he's good in this. And you have Chris Kattan playing comic relief. And one thing that's interesting about the film is that it kind of touches on the whole like video content creator trend that's it's really popular now, but back then it was like this was really just starting out. So you have a character in the movie played by Bridget Wilson who's like a kind of content creator, camera, like just she's there kind of just like to film like what's going on and see if this place is really haunted or whatever. And there's a whole scene with her where she's by herself. She, of course, they do a lot of the stupid horror movie tropes in this movie, like splitting up, going off on their own, so she goes off on her own, and she's like filming, and they do this whole bit where she's filming like like a gurney, and there's nobody there. But when she's looking through it through the camera viewfinder that we can see, you can see doctors operating on somebody, and it looks like they're doing it without anesthesia or whatever. And the doctors just like look up from what they're doing and look up at her, and that scene is just like, wow, that's a good scene, and it's a very simply done scene too. Like if you just really sit down and think about it, it's like really easy to come up with something like that, but it was a really simple gag that was effective, and the movie has a lot of that, I think. And also there's another great scene in the film where they put Jeffrey Rush's character in this thing they call a saturation chamber, and it's a really crazy visual scene where the audio and what you're seeing like just they go kind of crazy with it, and they just show like some just weird visuals. And it's in this moment particular that the movie reminds me a little bit of Jacob's Ladder, just with like the imagery and stuff, like shaking faces like really fast, and like just deformities and just blood and stuff. And in the scene, Jeffrey Rush is just like he's just in there, like immersed in this chamber as it's like just like starting to spin and just showing him stuff, and like he just starts hallucinating, and he's underwater and he's faceless. demons, that their faces are nothing but teeth show up, and even the lady who played Zool in Ghostbusters shows up in this part as in a cameo as a nurse. So if you're watching the scene and then you see that scene where the nurse is with the doctor whose face starts going really fast, you'll see the picture actually behind me. That's the actress who played Zool. So that's just one thing to look out for. But again, that scene alone, the saturation chamber scene, I think is worth watching this movie for. It's a really creative, creepy scene that they managed to put in this movie, and elevates it, far above what it should be. And there's even more stuff that I haven't even mentioned. There's at the end of the film when I get, I don't know, want to call it like the end boss or whatever, but like they see the final form of the hospital, the evil in the hospital. It's really interesting to me how they did that, because it's like some really abstract, like Rorschach thing, that it's like it's really hard to describe it, but it's like nightmarish. This thing, it's just like the kind of thing like Lovecraft talked about, like horrors that were just unspeakable and unnameable, and it's just kind of hard to describe what this entity is that shows up at the end of the film and starts dissolving people that it comes in contact with. But I think that's one of the best things about this movie, and gives it like even more heft in the horror area. I think that shit is just creepy. I should mention that another reason why I really like this film is that it excels everywhere that a horror film should excel. The sets are really well dressed, and they serve to give the house a really like a sense of character, and it feels foreboding, and just a very eerie place. And special effects in the film are actually really well done, and they don't go crazy with the CGI. I don't think if there's any, it's very little, and it's all practical, most of it, and it's all really nice special effects and prosthetic work that they did for this film. And the music is really good. The score, it's serves the movie really well. There's also a scene going back to that girl with the camera, where they find the camera after she goes missing, and they play the footage back. And that scene too is like, when if you watch the film again, just like pay attention to like the noises that she's making while they're doing whatever they're doing to her, because it's like I can't think of many other movies where the sounds that somebody was making, coupled with the fact that you're not really seeing what's happening to her, like made me uncomfortable. Like it sounded like, you know, like they were just disemboweling this poor girl, which in actuality they do, because they end up finding her later in the film, like just pinned and labeled like a just like a dissected, like a display, and they just like find her all like cut up into pieces, and it's like really neat and surgical. Man, like just thinking about that shit, just even still now gives me the chills. This movie came out the same year as The Haunting remake that Jan de Bont directed, which I remember that being a huge disappointment. And I'm not doing these videos to trash any films, but again, that movie was just like this. I think this movie for a haunted house movie like blows The Haunting out of the water. Like The Haunting was supposed to be scary, and all that movie I remember having was really good sound. But this one, like if you got to pick a haunted house movie from that year to watch, House on Haunted Hill is definitely the better pick over The Haunting. I do really want to recommend this movie to watch, especially now in October, spooky season, because it's a good movie, and the actors, they take it seriously, they sell it, and it's pretty funny. There's parts of it that you're gonna be like, get the fuck out of here. This is stupid. But you know what? The movie does not take itself too seriously, and you shouldn't take it too seriously either. And I think you can have fun with this one and actually enjoy it for Halloween. And I think it'd be a good movie to watch with a group of people and just enjoy yourselves. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.